Like many of you, I was both shocked and extremely disappointed when I learned that Mann's Bait Company was no more. And I quickly got on the phone and got on the road to try to figure out if there were any caches of Mann's baits left available for purchase before everything disappeared. Well, I happen to travel just a little bit for my day job, and I cannot tell you how many Bass Pro Shops I drove around in how many states before I found a couple of, we'll just call them treasure troves of old school, new in the package Manns. Well, like I'm prone to do in such events, I did bring the SLR camera along and I went a little bit overboard. So today on Retro Bassin, I'm weeding through some of my Mann's new old stock inventory, and I'm gonna be listing everything up on eBay. We have got a number of different lots, including a plenty of diving crankbaits, in particular the mid and the regular 1-. We've also got some deep divers, everything from the 10 plus to the 15 plus, 20 plus, and even 30 plus crankbaits. And of course, I've also got some Mann's soft plastics, including a fair bit of classic jellyworms. Stick around and definitely head on over to the Retro Bassin eBay page, which I'll drop down below. We're gonna have all these listings up. I'm gonna put them for 7-day auctions, and per usual, I'm gonna list each one for 99 cents to get the ball rolling.
Retro Bassin, kicking some ass and wearing rayon jackets. Thinking about Bill Dance, watching these fish prance through my Ray-Ban glasses. Ain't nothing better than 40-year-old lures coming off of Zepco 33. Out on the bass boat, making beer cans float, doing some trespassing. Fishing it old school, this old stuff rules. Welcome to Retro Bassin.
All right, well, before we get started, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the different variations of Mann's baits, in particular, the 1-. There are 3 popular sizes of the 1-, the baby 1-, the mid 1-, and the classic 1-. The vast majority of baits that I found were in that larger size, so I do want to do a little bit of a size comparison to show you guys what to expect. All right, we have 3 different sizes. First is going to be the regular 1-. This is the big boy. Second is the mid 1-. And third is the baby 1-, a bait that I pulled out of my tackle box. So I've got a little tape measure here, and we'll go ahead and get a quick measurement on these guys. So the regular 1- looks like that comes in at just over 3 inches, almost 3.5 inches. The mid 1- comes in at 3 inches. And then the baby 1- comes in at, we'll call that 2.5. Now, this is a pretty good representation of the mid 1- that I've got available for sale. This is the big boy. And technically, this is a double stamped 1-. You notice there's a stamp here. Can't really see it too well, but I can feel it. It says Mann's on one side, and it says 1- on the other. Actually, that one says Mann's, and that one says 1-. Now, the mids that I've got, for the most part, are single stamped. And again, I don't know how much you care about that, but just kind of letting you know. This one does say Mann's on this side, and nothing on that. All right, well, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get on to the lots available for bidding over at the eBay. Okay, Retro Bassin lot number 1 is going to be 4 of these, the regular double stamped 1- in what I would call, what color is this? It says generic on the back, but I'm pretty sure this is some sort of red crawl pattern. We'll go ahead and lay these bad boys out on the table. So there is number 1, new in the package, and these packages are actually in pretty good shape, all said and done. So there's 1 1-, 2 1-, 3 1-, and 4. So there is the first auction. That is 4 regular 1-, and we're gonna go ahead and list that at 99 cents. Okay, sticking with the 1- theme, Retro Bassin lot number 2 is going to be 4 of these, 4 of the regular 1- in a pattern. I don't know if it's called root beer. I had found it and then I forgot about it. But either way, it's got a chartreuse side. It has got a very kind of cool, I would say brown with a little bit of green fleck on the top and an orange belly. Let's go ahead and get this one on camera to show you the different angles. But there we go, orange side, brown top with some nice green fleck, and orange stripe on the belly. So this lot is going to be for 4 of these as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. These are of the double stamp variety. And we're going to go ahead and get this listing started at 99 cents. Noticing a little bit of a theme with my purchases at Bass Pro Shops. Lot number 3 is going to be 4 of these, again, regular double stamped 1-. This time in a pattern which I'm pretty sure is called American Shad. Go ahead and put these on the table for you. This is actually a really cool color that I'm super excited to fish, and I definitely am keeping a few of these for myself. It is a chromified shad. It's got sort of black on the top, a little bit of blue into some purple, a little bit of a yellow gill spot, some yellow on the belly into white. So really, really good looking one. Again, this is the regular 1-, double stamped, and we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those. So that is going to be Retro Bassin lot number 3. Before I get into lot number 4, I do want to recount a funny story that happened as I was checking out at the Bass Pro Shops with a shopping cart full of Manns. My receipt was about probably 2 or 3 feet long, and the cash register attendee said that it was the longest receipt that she had seen in, I think, 10 years at working at Bass Pro Shops. So congratulations, me. Anyway, lot number 4, we're going to switch it up off of the 1- for a minute. We're going to go with some deeper diving baits. These are going to range from a 10+ to a 30+, and it is going to be Retro Bassin lot number 4. So I'll go ahead and go through these one by one. All right, so let's go ahead and start. We'll do these 6 baits one by one. First one is this one. This is a stretch 10+. Actually a really cool bait that I do have a couple rigged up on my rods for the next time I hit a deeper lake. But this is a stretch 10+ in a pretty cool bubblegum pattern. Black back, bubblegum sides, and a little bit of red on the chin. So we got one of those. And then we also have another stretch. Now this one, I am gonna say is probably, I think this one was a 10+. I think this one is actually gonna be a 20+. So this is a stretch 20+ in a really cool looking pattern. It's got some, let's see here. I would say sort of black into blue, almost a mackerel looking side. A little bit of orange on the belly, and a really cool fleck that hopefully you can appreciate. So those are the first 2 baits. Now we're gonna get into some regular non-stretch crankbaits. First one is this one. This one is a, oh, I looked it up. What was it? I'm pretty sure this one is a 15+. I'll double check and put it in the description. But this one is a nice shad pattern here and a traditional Mann's crankbait. Kind of going up in size. The next one is this one. And this one looks to me to be a 20+. And if you look at those 2 lips, yeah, those are both the same on the stretch and the regular. So there is a 20+ Mann's in a, they don't really have the colors because I think these were literally just kind of scooped up out of the factory as they were closing up shop. But it is a black with a sort of pearl side and this really cool green fleck that I like a lot. All right, next one in the list is this one. This is gonna be a 30+. You can sort of see the progression in sizes, and you are gonna need a pretty stout rod to throw that one. Obviously this one is in a chartreuse pattern. And then last one is another 30+ in sort of a gray shad pattern. So that is it for Retro Bassin lot number 4. We've got 6 different deep diving Manns. Before we move on to lot number 5, got a little question for you guys to answer down in the comment section. A lot of the channels that I personally follow have been doing these kind of auctions, but doing it on Whatnot. I did set up a Whatnot account, but honestly, I haven't really gotten my streaming game down very well. So I'm kind of doing these videos as a little bit of a test balloon here on YouTube. Let me know what you think of this format where I'm doing a video and then also putting some listings on eBay, versus whether or not you guys actually even use Whatnot, or if it's something you would want to see more of in the future. Definitely not sure kind of how we're going to do this, as I'm offloading some of our Retro Bassin inventory, and I'm certainly open to suggestions. Moving on to lot number 5, we're going back to the 1-, and this is going to be a little bit of a variety pack. So first off, we're going to have 3 of that traditional size of the 1- in the 3 colors that we talked about. So we've got the shad, the red, and the chartreuse. So those are the first 3 in that regular size. Then I'm gonna get into some mid 1-, which is the next size down. I didn't pick up as many of these, and I've kind of got them buried a little bit. So before I list more of these, I'm gonna have to go through and see how much inventory I've got, how much is headed for my tackle boxes versus out the door. But we do have 3 of those, including this one here. Does it have the color? Oh, they all just say generic. But that sort of almost looks like a sexy shad pattern. Again, mid 1- number 1, mid 1- number 2, and more of a translucent trout pattern. That's a really cool one. And then lastly, mid- say that 3 times fast, which I did. Number 3 in a gold with a black back. I've actually got this one currently tied on to my rod right now. So the next time I get out in a scenario where I would be throwing a 1-, it is going to be this exact bait. So this is Retro Bassin lot number 5, 6 baits starting off at 99 cents. All right, last lot of hard baits before we get into a couple lots of soft plastics. So a little bit of rinse and repeat on some of these sizes and colors, but again, I'm not sure exactly what everyone's looking for. This is going to be a lot of 9 of the original 1- in 3 different colors. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 here of the red crawl. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 of that perhaps root beer color. And then 1, 2, and 3 of the American shad. So this is definitely the biggest lot of the 1- that I've got. This is 9 of these bad boys. And we're going to start the listing on all of these at 99 cents. All right, now it is on to some Mann soft plastics. Okay, so let's go ahead and get everything out of frame. So the first lot I've got, so this is going to be, I think that was how many of the hard baits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this can be Retro Bassin lot number 7, which I don't have in drafts yet, but I will. This is going to be for one of my favorite soft plastic jerkbaits, the Mann's Shadow. I actually don't really want to part with these, but I will anyway. Even when Mann's was still around, this was actually a really, really hard bait to find. I could find the 3-inch size, but not the larger 4.5 or 5.5-inch size. This thing fishes a lot like a fluke or a sluggo, but it's got a really cool bait fish profile, which I absolutely love. So this lot is going to be sort of a variety pack of these Mann Shadows in that 5.5-inch size. First one is going to be, and again, I'm not going to read the colors. You can see there's no way, but I'll just lay them down here. This is a chartreuse and a white, pack number 1, and it does look like a 10-pack of these shadows. Second one, ooh, look at this, a black and gold flake. That is a mean looking shadow. This one actually might say a little bit more info on it. Let's see here. Nope, it says generic. Just about everything that Mann's put out the door at the last minute, I think, said generic. Pack number 3, Mann Shadow in a, looks like a glow pattern. Pack number 4, Mann Shadow in a bubblegum. And pack number 5, man, this really cool color that I'd never actually seen before. This is a Mann Shadow in, I think it might be called Blue Ice. It is a translucent blue with some silver and red fleck in it. So right here, that is gonna be 5 packs. I'm gonna assume that those are 10 per, so we're talking 50 man shadows. We're gonna go ahead and put that up at 99 cents. Like, I have to say that every time, but I still will. All right, lot number 8 coming in. This is gonna be a strictly jellyworm lot. Not one size, not one color, but everything in this lot is gonna be the classic discontinued jellyworm. Let's do biggest to smallest, eh? So the first one is gonna be, ooh, one of my favorite colors of jellyworm. How big is this one? You know, this package, it's really worn out, so it's hard to see, but I did have my handy dandy tape measure. It looks like this is gonna be an 11 or a 12-inch jellyworm. Those might be 12s, to be honest with you. I'll measure that, by the way, and put that in the video description, but I'm pretty sure, let's see here. Yeah, that's probably a 12. That's what I'm thinking. So that is gonna be a 12-pack of jellyworm in blueberry. I can't tell you how much it's gonna smell like blueberry or not, but what are you gonna do? Next one, we've got some more jellyworms. It says, it's not, no, these are not hard nose. And a really nice tequila sunrise. Of course, you got Mr. Paul Elias up there. There's one up front I can measure here. Okay, so this one is gonna be a 8-inch jellyworm pack in the tequila sunrise, but it's also got some green fleck in there, which is really cool. So 2 nice packs there. How many are in this one? 8-inch jellyworm, 20 in tequila green. Okay, so that one you can still see what the original listing was. So 20 tequila green. I don't know if that's a 20 pack or not. Probably not. Those are bigger. All right, next we're gonna go down a significant size to one that is the, how big is this one? The 6-inch jellyworm. So here we have, those are the 2 big boys. I'll kind of put them on the side, and then we got some 6-inchers. So this is a 6-incher in Melon Magic, or Watermelon Magic. Really cool color here. It's a watermelon with some red fleck and looks like gold fleck in there. I like that one a lot. Next one is another of the 6-inch. This one is in a sort of plum with blue fleck color. And does it say how many are in here? That's probably a 20 pack, I'm guessing. And then last, we've got a classic pack of just straight up 6-inch watermelons. So if these are 20s, I'll assume that's 20, 40, 60, 80, 90 jellyworms. We're gonna go ahead and put that up at 99 cents. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Looking at this, I actually see now it says 15. So 15, 30, 45. This is a, that's gonna be 55, 65, 75. So 75 jellyworms. I just saw that. It says 15 pack on there. Tried to search like 15 worms, didn't I? Oh, man. And by the way, I am going to seal these up as best I can when I ship them. These worms tend to leak a little bit like an old Oldsmobile, but I will do my best to get a Ziploc bag in this thing so it doesn't, you know, worm grease all over your mailbox. All right, before we get into the last but not least lot of jellyworms, I do have to give a shout out to one of my BASSIN buds on Instagram, Let's Fish Already. He was actually the first one that tipped me off that there was a Bass Pro Shops near him that had a lot of discontinued Mann's baits, including some unpainted baby 1-minuses that me and Epic Eric are gonna go ahead and do a little collab on just as soon as the dust settles. And there were a ton of bulk Mann's plastics. So he went ahead and picked up some Mann's for me by the pound, and I went off and broke off some of those guys to share with you guys. So I've got these things bagged up separately, but I will go through them and maybe even get them out for you. First one is a pack of 10 Mann's, I think this is called the Dragon Worm, if I recall correctly. This is a really nice soft plastic. It is a sort of a paddle beaver tail. And man, this would be a really cool Florida bait. It is in a black with red fleck. Does it have the hard head? Let's see. I don't think that's a hard head or a hard nose, but either way, a really cool bait. And so there's gonna be 10 of those that came out of the bulk bin. Pretty sure I counted off 10 of them. Next one is a Mann's bait that I actually have not fished before. This is the Mann snake. I need to do more snake fishing. And this is a pack of snakes. How many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 5. Looks like 8 snakes in here. This is a really cool looking bait. Look at that dude. Oh man. Nice flat bottom, plaining head, a couple of glorious eyes, and look, even the tail itself, when you do get him, you break that, and then that tail will fly behind. So that is a nice snake. Let's go ahead and measure him, or kind of estimate how big he'll be. So if we go 6 to the first bend, and add on another 4, that is basically a 10-inch snake in a really good looking color. Probably a Mann's bait you didn't even know existed. All right, here's another weird one of Mann's. This one was called the Mosquito Hawk. And I've got some of these out of the bulk bin here. This was a bait I think originally designed for Carolina rigging. What's kind of cool about it, it's got 2 little wings on it, it's got a little straight tail, and you can see that those guys will come loose when you open her up. I don't know if this is a glow pattern, but that looks a whole lot like a glow pattern to me. Let's go ahead and measure this bad boy. So it looks like that is going to be a 4.5-inch Mosquito Hawk bait. I think I put in 10 of those into that one. All right, I couldn't do a listing without at least a few jellyworms, and I got a couple of them here. First one is going to be, well, how many do we have in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 of a bait that honestly I kind of didn't even want to sell because I will use these, but hey, I figured it's worth doing. This is an 8-inch jellyworm in a blueberry. It doesn't really smell like blueberry, I'm not going to lie to you. But either way, a super cool Mann's bait. And a color that you ain't gonna find at Academy Sports, I can tell you that. And last but not least, we got some more Mann's jellyworms. This is the big dog. How big is this sucker? It's gonna say it on the tail, and that's the cool thing about the Mann's jellyworms. It says it on the tail. So it looks like this one is a Mann's 12-inch in a strawberry. Yeah, that is not a that is not a jellyworm for a small bass, or maybe it is. Does it smell like strawberry? No, not so much. But either way, a great looking bait, and it should be 10 of those as well. So that is it for the final Retro Bassin lot here. I'm gonna put all of these up. Again, these were loose, so I bagged them up as best I could, and I'm gonna double bag them as well, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of loose Mann's plastics for 99 cents. So again, guys, I will drop links to all these down below in the video description, so go ahead and check it out. And let me know, by the way, is this a format that you guys like? Would you prefer that I start a whatnot thing? Because I have been dragging my heels on whatnot just a little bit, to be honest with you, because I do have a few things that I want to learn how to do, like fly a drone, and I'm kind of working through some different stuff. But I will speed up my learning curve if it's something that you guys want to see. By the way, if you guys are looking for some more old school content, you can click right here. Otherwise, I'll see you back. And until then, keep the carpet side up. And definitely, fish it old school.
Fishing it old school, this old stuff rules. Welcome to Retro Bassin.